The desert sun dipped low over Redstone Town as guests filled the white-flowered barn for the wedding everyone whispered about but never kindly. The bride, Emma Hayes, moved slowly with a polished wooden cane, her left leg weakened since childhood, each step careful and silent under the weight of eyes judging her worth. Once, she believed love was soft and safe, like the ranch sunsets she grew up watching, but when her accident robbed her mobility, people who once flattered her now treated her like a burden. Even today, as she tried to smile, the room swarmed with mocking smirks, bridesmaids giggling that she would limp her way down the aisle, groomsmen joking about return policy weddings, snobbish guests whispering she didn't deserve happiness. It was supposed to be her perfect day, but perfection had been replaced by humiliation the moment her fiancé, Trevor Langford, the county's golden boy, had rushed the ceremony only to avoid the shame of backing out publicly. Emma clutched the bouquet tighter, pain shooting up her hip, reminding her she walked differently, lived differently, and to them, that meant less. Even her own relatives kept reminding her she should be grateful anyone wanted to marry her at all. The music played, everyone rose, not out of respect but curiosity. How would the disabled bride manage the aisle? Trevor's mother, a rigid woman with diamonds heavy around her throat, hissed, "Do try not to embarrass us, dear. You already walk like the floor owes you something." Laughter followed behind carefully painted hands. Emma inhaled through the sting in her throat, summoning every shred of dignity, stepping forward with determination carved into her soul. Each step was a rebellion, proof she was still whole, still worthy. But then the universe turned crueler. Halfway down, a heel caught uneven floorboard, she stumbled, grabbing her cane to stay upright. Gasps echoed, some exaggerated, some gleeful. Someone's phone lifted to record, because nothing amused Redstone like weakness. "Maybe she should crawl," a man sneered. "She's slow anyway," another added. Emma didn't cry, she refused. But inside, her heart cracked like desert clay starved of rain. Trevor's face twisted into annoyance rather than concern, as if she were embarrassing him intentionally. Then came the moment that shattered what little hope remained. Trevor stepped forward, not to help, but to whisper sharply, "Can't you try harder to look normal for once?" In that instant, every dream she stitched from fragile hope unraveled. She raised her chin, but the lights blurred, the scent of dust and perfume suffocating her courage. The crowd buzzed louder until the barn doors creaked, and silence fell like a sudden storm. Heavy boots stepped inside. A tall man walked toward the chaos, hat shadowing his face, jaw carved from stone, coal black eyes that dared anyone to breathe wrong. Everyone knew him by reputation. Caleb Ward, the silent cowboy, the rancher who spoke little but defended fiercely. He wasn't dressed for a wedding, leather coat dusted from the trail, holster glinting faintly, presence haunting like thunder waiting to strike. He saw Emma trembling, saw the cruelty dripping from the crowd, and in his calm, unreadable face, something cold and furious sparked. Without asking permission, he reached her side and offered his arm, steady, strong, unshaking, as if she were royalty and he was sworn to protect. Gasps spread. Trevor's mother growled, "Who let that outlaw inside?" Trevor stepped forward with fake confidence, chest puffed. "This is my wedding. Leave her." Caleb didn't even look his way, his voice low and commanding after a long silence, "She deserves better." The room froze, a cowboy challenging the mighty Langfords. Unheard of. Emma stared at Caleb, confused why a stranger would care. His hand, rough but careful, gave her something she hadn't felt in years: value. "Walk with me," he offered gently. "If they mock you, let them watch you rise." And for the first time that day, Emma did rise, not because she could walk perfectly, but because she was no longer walking alone. The crowd stiffened, unsettled by the shift in power, like the moment before a summer storm breaks, when the wind holds its breath. Caleb looked up, meeting the judgmental eyes piercing them from every angle. A long silence stretched, dangerous and daring, and then he said to everyone, "If you laugh at her again, you'll learn what kneeling feels like." Gasps exploded, someone dropped their drink, Trevor's fists clenched, but no one, not one, had the courage to challenge Caleb Ward's promise. And as Emma held his arm, feeling strength pulse through that silent vow, a new future flickered alive in her chest, not one built on shame, but on fire. Night cloaked Redstone after the storm of humiliation and confrontation, and Emma found herself at the edge of the quiet desert, breath trembling in the cool wind, the wedding bouquet discarded like a broken promise while Caleb Ward stood a few steps away, scanning the dark horizon as if he expected danger to rise from it. The barn lights flickered far behind them, a reminder of the cruelty she'd walked away from, leaving her old life and its chains in the dust. Trevor had tried to save face, shouting in front of everyone that Emma was pathetic, that she should be thankful he ever looked at her, and his friends had laughed, calling Caleb a stray mutt defending a broken thing. But then Caleb's hand had gone to his holster, not pulling the gun, just resting there casually, and the room had fallen silent, every coward suddenly remembering how fear tasted. Now, away from the noise, Caleb finally spoke without fire, his deep voice threaded with a softness she didn't expect. "You stood brave today." Emma let out a shaky laugh, tears she held back mixing with frustration. "Brave. I stumbled, I shook, I almost collapsed in front of them." Caleb turned to her, his eyes like dark embers simmering beneath ash. "You got back up. That's all bravery is." She studied him carefully, his scars, his silence, the way he looked at her without pity. "Why did you help me?" The question floated between them like fragile smoke. Caleb hesitated, something painful flickering behind his gaze, like he carried a memory heavy enough to anchor ships. "Because once," he said slowly, "someone I loved was mocked for being different. I didn't protect her in time." Emma could feel his heart cracking open in those few words, a story buried deep in bleeding. They walked through the moonlit dirt road toward his horse, a tall black stallion pawing impatiently at the ground, and Caleb offered his hand to help Emma mount. "Where are we going?" she whispered. "Somewhere they'll never make you feel small again." But as he helped her into the saddle, a roar of engines sliced through the night, trucks, headlights glaring like hungry wolves, Trevor and his group of friends, fueled by humiliation and whiskey. Trevor stumbled out, arrogance dripping like venom. "You think you can steal my bride and walk away?" he slurred. "She isn't yours," Caleb answered, steady as bedrock. "She never was." The men formed a circle, mocking her limp, barking cruel laughs, chanting insults about her leg, each word a blade digging into old wounds, until Trevor stepped close enough that she smelled the alcohol on his breath. "You're damaged goods, Emma. Without me, you're nothing." Caleb moved fast, one hand against Trevor's chest, pushing him back as if he weighed nothing. "You forget yourself," he warned. But the crowd surged and one of the men grabbed Emma's cane, yanking it away so she stumbled, fear flaring in her chest. And that was the last mistake they would ever make in front of Caleb Ward. Fire and rage fused in his eyes as he stepped forward, boots grinding into the dirt. He didn't need to raise his voice, each word thundered with promise. "Kneel. Now." Trevor's friends laughed, for one foolish second, until Caleb's fist shot like lightning, dropping the nearest man to his knees in the dirt. Two more lunged and found themselves gasping for air, faces buried in the ground, their pride shattered under the weight of a cowboy's justice. Trevor tried to attack from behind, but Caleb caught him by the collar and forced him down, both knees in the dirt, the same dirt Emma walked through wounded. The headlights framed the scene like a trial under heaven itself. "You mock her." Caleb's voice broke the world in half. "Then you'll bow to what you will never understand, strength you can't see." Trevor choked on dust and defeat, struggling but trapped. Emma, breath unsteady, watched as the balance of power flipped, the ones who made her feel small now groveling at her feet, their arrogance crushed by honor. Caleb didn't strike again, he simply held Trevor there long enough for silence to teach a lesson fists never could. Then he stood, offering Emma her cane back with reverence, as if it were a sword belonging to a warrior. "You choose what comes next," he told her quietly. She stared down at Trevor, once a symbol of her insecurity, now just a scared boy in expensive clothes. And in that moment, she realized something life-changing: she never needed him to walk a single step forward. She turned away, lifting herself onto Caleb's horse with determination instead of shame, leaving those who mocked her choking on their own dust. They watched in disbelief as she rode into a future brighter than her past. The moon followed them like a silent witness while Redstone shrunk behind, and Emma felt something she hadn't felt in a long time, not fear, not doubt, but power. Caleb glanced at her, a rare smile ghosting his lips. "Where to now?" he asked. Emma looked ahead, eyes shining. "Anywhere I'm wanted." And for the first time, she knew that place existed, right beside the silent cowboy who made the world kneel for her. As the horizon opened wide, she realized her story wasn't about the day she almost married a cruel man, but the night she truly found herself, and gained a partner who saw her not as damaged, but extraordinary.